The Om is supposed to be the sound of the universe, right? Om. Om. It helps me like harmonize. And there's another one I learned is hue. Hue has like a softer. My friend he's a psychic actually, Ted Marr. I just got off the phone with him, and his family's they're all psychic, and he's a lawyer, and they taught him how to, because his aunt was a psychic for the police, the Seattle Police Department, and so he's got tired of being a lawyer, and he went into just training for that. You know, it's real, like the psychic division of like the military, all that stuff. And so he would tell me to do hue, and hue has like a more I guess like a lighter, but it's supposed to protect, like put light around you. So it's like a hue, and it helps to envision a light in the center, kind of, and around you, and you just focus on the light. Hue. I guess the pitch is not important as much as like where it feels comfortably within you. I like Om a lot, but Hue's nice. Um, Sounds, right? Vibes. We're vibes.
Do you ever do sound therapy?
Yeah, so I've been doing them in Korea, like sound healing. I love music, so, but it fell into that. It's really about service. Like, what are we doing to serve? And your podcast is a service. You're in many ways, right? And that's always easier when we do something of service. So it seems like music as medicine or as therapy is a lot. Mm, it feels more receptive. And although you want to write songs, and I do write music and stories and good vibes, put them out there, but it's something different when you're doing something that has I guess no plot or story behind it, like a up and down. It's more of a just I'm making vibrations that are designed to help, kind of like help the energy in our room, or design a better atmosphere.
Because service is purpose.
Yes.
And with purpose, it comes through you.
Yeah, we don't have to try.
You don't have to try.
Don't have to sell it, or
No.
it's there.
You can deny, or you can let it flow.
Yeah, that was the topic of our last one.
I just told the last lady that was here that I didn't choose to do a podcast. It was just either I deny doing it or I do it. But I don't have no choice. I felt like I had a higher calling to do it, to talk to people.
How do you feel about it so far?
Oh, it's life-changing. It's the best.
It's nice, right?
Yeah.
You've been having a lot of fun ones.
Yeah.
And
it is so refreshing to speak to people, see them, when you're like always on screens and in this virtual craziness. It's so nice to like sit down with somebody and just have a convo. I don't think we do that enough anymore.
Yeah.
Like people spend like 4 hour, 5 hour screen time, but not 4 hour, 5 hour like people time, like actual conversations, not just the basics,
Are you gonna move to live eventually?
I think so, yeah. I think it would be really cool. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Uh-huh. I don't think ever the virtual. I'm hesitating to do because I like. There's nothing worse than FaceTime or Zoom. It really takes away from. I feel like the conversation. There's a conversation that you can hear, and then there's like a conversation you can feel, and then there's like body and physics. And you were hugging me earlier. There's more to it than just the words. And the computer and all of that nonsense cannot give me that. I don't want to. As long as I don't have to, I don't think I'm gonna. I'd rather wait and then meet you one day. Once our path will, if we're meant to do this, our paths will cross. Rather than just calling you in Japan and doing another one virtual. You know what I mean?
If we didn't have a choice, right? If we have a choice, for sure, we do. And it does feel totally different. I can't even. If there was a way to communicate this, but art is, I think, such a powerful method. So I'm like passionate about creatives out there, and I want to maybe envision like something. When I was a kid, I used to love X-Men, and I'm like, really, it was so cool how Xavier would have basically a home for artists, mutants. But I think artists, we can be mutants in a way because we're like, it's like a supernatural ability to tap into a different realm and like create something out of nothing.
Outliers.
I feel like so high recently that it's like I don't even know which one is, and it was becoming a little foggy. It's becoming like the other, my motor skills are like not always coherent because you're like in the dream state sometimes. Have you ever felt that way? And like last night, I saw like a spirit, and I used to see him a lot when I was a kid. But like I was up, like meditating, studying this new technology. Actually, it's from the 90s or something, where I guess the infrared lenses, and they have different types of lenses. One particular, it's a purple lens that you can see auras. So how they do aura photography. And so apparently when you use those enough, the lenses, it's got to be a very specific material. There's a lot of fakes out there. But you get the right one and you actually get the aura from like you see the glow. And once you wear it enough, you start training your eyes to just focus on the white light because what it does is, it erases the white light. So you're able to see the real spectrum of energy around. And so once we get accustomed to it, you're like seeing it all the time. And so I'm studying this, I'm focusing on this, and my mindset is there. And so I'm like, I just see this like spirit, right? I don't know how to explain it. It's basically light, like almost like a very light, um, thin, thin blanket kind of. Ghosts wear blankets. It makes sense. And then it was just like it didn't like feel. You can always feel their energy, like just like we do each other. So you feel like if you feel afraid, then it might be like a negative energy. But I don't remember ever feeling that way since I was a kid. Um, I've seen they're mostly angelic, thank God. And so since that last night, I feel like just kind of it's been this week though. I feel more in the dream state. And I've read, I don't know if this is like far off the wall, but we have three epochs of human history on Earth. It was the Atlanteans and the Lemurians. Lemuria, Atlantis, where I live is Mount Shasta. And it's said to be one of the places where the Lemurians went after the cataclysms. I've seen people there that are definitely not entirely our genetic of human.
You told me about that last time.
So they're
really tall.
They're the different. It's like a different. It's a human, right? But it's not like entirely like the people you'd see out here. because it's some different like, and they appear to be very very like old, like elders, but young in skin and
In physique,
yeah, physique. It's like the trippiest thing to say.
old souls.
Like old bodies too, but but not.
Bro, the more I read into history,
Mm.
everything is a lie. They lied about everything, especially about the Egypts with their ropes and the slaves
Oh my goodness.
building the stones. And like, I follow this guy who like posts these like you can put a credit card on the edges of how they put these stones, like how precise
Hmm.
and how heavy. And
Was it a
then
mall? Like there's people were shopping.
it was just everything is a lie. Everything in the history books and everything they taught us is not true.
Yeah.
It seems like there's been many,
Yeah.
and it makes you really feel like humanity is very fragile, because there's been many advanced. We've been advanced many times, and then just something happens, and then we're like back in Stone Age and like back in the barbaric, and then we get very advanced again.
Mm.
We built these cities and
Mm.
Opulus, and we're like
Mm.
thriving, like right how we are
Mm.
right now. Nobody needs to hunt anymore.
Mm.
Nobody
Mm.
needs to date
They
anymore.
fuck it up.
We're just isolated at home and genderless
Yeah.
and you know, like we're like just like blobs. And then something happens and we're like back in the barbaric state, and then
And it feels like that's where we're at now.
yeah, and we find these things unexplainable carved into stone, like some UFOs, and like some, like they knew about like the planets and about so much things, and incredible, like all these ancient civilizations. They had it all like figured out,
It's all dialed in.
and then something happened, and we're trying to explain it with these like very it makes no sense how we try to explain history.
Is it happening now?
I don't know, when I look online and I see the news and how we write history right now, I feel like it is always very far from the truth,
Mm.
and it's always written by the people that kind of win and
Mm.
conquer.
Mm.
Um,
And it's also interpretation.
yeah, perspective.
Like there's I mean, I know you're supposed to stay away from religious subjects because everyone has their own opinion, but
Uh-huh.
the Bible has different messages depending how you interpret it,
Yes.
or not just about any book, because you have to be.
Not only that, I had somebody on about the Bible specifically, and he even said that the translation in translation there's so much that gets lost.
Yeah,
So
you would have to be in that moment when they were writing it during that period, experiencing the same energy to really get it. What
yes,
they're otherwise, it's kind of like creative, ambiguous. Not just that book, but in general, like art is very how you see it, right?
if not only how it makes you feel almost.
Stories and creation, everything was created is we can't just take it too literal.
Yeah.
It's like, what do we want to see? Mm. And I know there's turmoil, and like the news is gonna portray that. What's
I can hear it.
okay, cool. So they want us to live in fear because that's their benefit, right? It's who's they? I guess if you're in charge of the media, um, they are used to us responding to fear, and we are brought up to be easily controlled by fear, and there's some kind of like it's like built into our upbringing, right? But I don't think newborn children are born with fear, like, almost like fearless. And if you put a kid like a baby in a place like in front of fire, he's not gonna touch it, right? But then might say like don't go there. But he's already not programmed. He's like intuitively not gonna do that. But by putting that pressure, then it creates like layers of what not to do and it removes our I think our ability to be expansive and free. and be able to reach further. So instead of training ourselves to be limitless, we have to untrain ourselves to remove the layers of cells and limits and fear that's been built up. How do you do it? How do you break out?
Well, I feel the same. There's like inner resistance to not be like good enough, and then yeah, you almost have to go back to like a place of seeing the world as a child, or
Fresh start.
yeah, and be fearless, because living your life out of fear is not living your life. So yeah, I constantly remind myself that the universe needs good and bad, and that the truth always wins, and that if I'm true to myself, things will fall into place.
That's true.
If you follow your intuition, and
yeah,
I feel like most times I try to achieve this state where it goes through me rather than
in the flow.
Yeah.
There's 3 minds, right? There, here and here and here, like my gut, and I think there's one more below. So we think with different instincts. When they're all tuned in, it's like that's the flow. When your gut tells you something, right? Everybody has that instinct.
Yeah.
My gut's saying that's the intuition, right? It's the intuition might reside in the stomach. And lining them all up is when you release everything, right? And through meditation on spiritual practices, it feels like instead of searching for more knowledge, we're removing, erasing. And I've been to a practice where the meditation is to everything that's happened since we were born is saved as a picture in like our hard drive of our mind. And so you experience it all again, watch it. This works really well. Traumas and things we're afraid of. You like fully engage it, watch the movie in your mind, and then let it go. And they're pictures. They just kind of like let them go, like throw them away, like erasing your phone book. So I need more space. So the idea is to just delete it all, and then there's endless creativity available. So the more I meditate, the less memory I like. Not that I can't remember if I needed to, but I don't have that much memory of the simple things that have happened. Like it's not even in my radar anymore. Like we're living here now, so what happened yesterday is not important. It's where we are and where we want to go that I think the universe is gonna project its energy on us towards. Like where does this person see himself? So the future and and belief, faith, manifestation becomes, what do I believe I am worth, or I am? Where am I? Not just where I want to, my dream, where my desire, or what I hope to be, or I wish to be. It's where I am. And then it's real. It's all, you have, that kind of belief. Like I don't want to move to Austin. I'm in Austin and you're there. That's how, and seeing it in like people that I look up to in history and my friends and you, including you, you don't live with that disconnection of, I wish, or it's done. It's here. We're here. So where are we? Because you've been gone so long that you don't even remember what it was like before. And it's kind of cool because I think that's why people vacation or trip out or whatever. It's to stay fresh And when really like that week or that first few days, everything's possible. There's no thought of what I can't do. And so I'm trying to ride that wave and yeah, live in the moment.
Yeah, when you're truly present, I feel the same. There's no point in yesterday. Of course, it's there.
Yeah.
The future is there too, but life becomes really purposeful and simple when you just live day by day.
Yes.
In some sense.
Yes.
And true to the day, true to your potential today, true to what can I control today. And then you find out, like how you said, like you don't wish to do something. You do it, or you'll execute it the next time.
You keep your focus.
Yes.
If you really want it, it's gonna happen.
But you don't waste any time wanting or wishing.
No.
If you can't execute it now, then when the time will come.
Yes.
But if you can execute it now, you will do it now. So I stopped hesitating about or overthinking or is this the right decision, because decisions are not right or wrong. A lot of times it's up to you. Like if I'm gonna be happy or not in Austin is up to me. If this is gonna work or not is up to me.
Yeah.
It's not a wrong decision, but it's neither a right decision either. I just feel this.
It's gonna be good for Austin.
Yeah, and I feel like it feels right to do it now, so I have to follow what feels right.
Yeah.
And I like doing that. It's exciting.
It feels dissonant. It feels kind of. But it depends on where you're at in the world. But the cities definitely take more effort. Right. The countryside's more open, more room to think. And yeah, I feel like sometimes so foggy, but I can't even like be coherent with where there's too much noise.
Yeah.
So I think you're making a great move. Yeah. Hopefully less EMF. EMF is real.
What is EMF?
Electromagnetic frequencies.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Like when we put our phone here, all the static you got. Static. Thought frequencies and
Did I tell you this last time? I go every night before we sleep. I go to the box here and I take every breaker off.
You do?
I do.
Sick.
And this sounds maybe crazy, but we sleep like angels. We sleep so fucking good.
Yeah.
It is incredible.
But do you remember what it's like not having it on?
Because when we came back from Texas,
you forgot.
No, I just thought, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
So I just didn't turn it off, and we didn't sleep good.
Really?
And then I turned it off again. I only leave the fridge on. You gotta try this if you have breakers. It's incredible, and you sleep like you're outside almost. And I think once we're in Texas and we have our own home and there's nobody above, then it will really be powerful if you take out all the breakers. Man, you sleep so deep and like good, and there's no like inflammation and like I don't know what it does, but there's a huge difference. I can just tell from my own experience.
Yeah. It's real.
It's so real.
There's a lot of science and videos on it, but like it's real.
It's so real.
Yeah.
And you feel refreshed. I feel like in the morning I don't have to go in the cold plunge right away. When I have all the electrics on, I feel like, man, I'm so inflamed. Like I need to go right now.
You don't have to filter it.
No, you feel pretty good in the morning. You sleep deep and restorative.
And wake up.
Yeah,
nice,
because
fresh.
I think we were just used to this buzz, this constant electric buzz around us. This like.
Yeah. We're so. I mean, when I pull out a phone and I'm trying to take a photo of an animal, it's the hardest thing. One is that they're not engaged with, they know you're focused on the technology, but the other is like they don't like phones, right? They don't like the vibe of it.
Yeah. Kids too.
Yeah, it's like no.
They're like, leave me alone.
So we're not gonna throw them away. We just gotta like be aware of it for now.
Man, so
A mess.
yeah. Man, so what do you think? Are we, I saw this post the other day where they said like World War One and World War Two, they named those wars way later, and we could be in World War Three as we speak.
Mm.
They will just name it later.
They might name it 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they're happening, and everything now is less obvious, or right. So in the past, it seems like it was like straightforward, even though there was less technology. But now the warfare is kind of information and spiritual. So it's how to do it without. It's always been the under a disguise, under yeah, an illusion of basically like how do we be secretive? How do we be more dishonest? How do we keep people asleep? And that's how the wars are fought, right? Mostly. I know some are happening physically right now, which is terrible, but they've been happening even before that, and they're gonna continue happening until we wake the fuck up. And it's not just one like group of people saying they're awake, and it's everyone being in harmony because we have to tune up together like an instrument, like a band, right? If one person's off, it's gonna fuck everything up. But once we line up, it's like we're unstoppable. So yeah, the wars basically have, I think, been happening. World War III's been occurring. I mean, I've never felt like we weren't at war with our world around us. And you win by tuning, by working on yourself and being above. I think that's how because if we're playing in that vibration of fear and conflict, yeah, we can easily go there right now. We can just turn on the news and be afraid and then walk around like fuck, But we can also just change the world by fixing ourselves first, elevating our vibes, and then that, in sense, it's like a magnetic field. So by us being together, we're high vibe, we're feeling good. That's helping our atmosphere, and we might be able to help others around us. And I don't think the dissonant frequencies are as strong as the higher dimensional frequencies, the lighter frequencies. Light is always stronger than dark. There's might be less of it, but it's bright. It's gonna make a bigger difference. So it's happening, yeah, and we're winning.
I know the war is like
Yeah,
almost in here.
inside.
If you're gonna enslave,
It's
or
inside.
gonna break out of your own mind.
Yes, it's within the mind. So the technology, I wouldn't say everything's like so like we should be afraid and think that walk on eggshells, everything's against us because we're losing in that sense. But we should be aware that we have to win within, right? And yeah, there's parasites that survive. There's off of our human energy, like the Matrix. We're power, right? We're energy. We're batteries for anything. Like so, it's like these vibes are gonna be attracted to us. So yeah, it's like even like to me, it's a lot of it is also diet, like consumption of media as well, like what we put in our bodies, who we're around, like what we're around. It's not easy. It's not like even if you're feeling amazing, you're like the highest of the high vibe and you're glowing, that can easily change in a day if you're not like aware and you're not careful. It's like a constant routine, like fitness.
Never ending.
Never ends. Never, you don't stop.
You know they call it the feed because they're feeding the cattle, and you're paying with your time and whatever narrative they
shit.
want to put in the feed. So they're feeding you entertainment, and then if there's a narrative that will bring them more money or more power, they will put it within the feed. So they keep you feeding, and every day you get fed. And when you're aware of that, you go outside and you see them when they're feeding. You see the head goes down, and and they're getting fed right now. They're like almost like
Yes, consumption.
consumption,
Like that's our
propaganda,
yeah.
narrative. Do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, be afraid of this, take this,
Mm,
buy this now.
mm.
This will protect you. And so you're constantly in this machinery.
And that's the war.
I went on Runyon Canyon and I purposely left my phone at home because I just wanted to run.
Mm-hmm.
And already 5 minutes in, I'm already regretting it. I'm like, shit, I should have just brought my phone.
You miss your phone.
But then I see all these people that walk towards me and they're all on their phone.
Mm,
And everybody has it on them. It's always around. It's surrounding you. It makes you feel weird, like you have to pick it up. You have to check it constantly. There could be something on there. And it drives you crazy.
it's definitely helping in depression.
It feels beautiful to leave it at home because then you don't have that need, that urge
Mm.
to pull it out.
And then you just when you need to get back to people, you just do it all.
Yeah, and it's just time management. Like you do it when you need it,
Mm-hmm.
be the Trojan horse,
Mm-hmm.
use it for good,
Yeah.
but then leave it alone and don't be a consumer.
Don't let it use you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Don't get fed all day. Like,
Yeah, use the technology. It's supposed to
Yeah.
help us.
yeah. I like when you say, like, don't be afraid of it. Like, don't go in the forest and just live
Mm.
by yourself.
Embrace it.
Embrace it, but I feel like social media people are much more aware than the normal consumption that don't make a living off social media.
Oh,
Like,
true.
once you use it and abuse it, you
Because you've done a
learn,
lot.
you know the danger, you know what it does to you and how it makes you feel and what it does to other people. And then you're like, yo, like, I tell everybody, like, you should just, be very smart with it and be very aware of what they're doing with you.
And that's how your evolution also has brought you to perhaps focusing on service shows, like the content we put out, right?
Yeah, because it's an information war.
Mm.
Right now, look at the Middle East,
Mm.
right? Most
feeding.
people that post have never been there, never stepped
Nobody
foot in
knows
there.
yeah.
All these historians and politicians, and they have never been to Gaza. They have no idea. And both sides lie about everything. Like there's like AI pictures, and then they lie about this, and then it's actually that, and then meanwhile, maybe it's something you don't get at all. Meanwhile, maybe this is like something that there's people behind the scenes that we don't know about, and a narrative that what I do know is that it really gets one side against the other, and then it creates crazy hate, and it occupies your mind and really distracts you from your own life.
Yeah, I heard a good analogy. Like, so sports, right? Sports is bread and circus, the Colosseum, and that was all kind of created to distract us.
Yes, that's how Rome fell.
Rome, right? So we were all distracted by
The circus.
the circus and bread and circus.
Yeah, and this is the circus.
Yeah. So
You're not actually going to a circus anymore. Your phone is the circus.
Yes, the circus is what keeps us dumb, so other things can feed off our energy. And if you're in a team, like you're gonna want to beat the other team. But if there's always somebody who owns those teams and then owns the leagues, and they're gonna want wars to continue. So at the top, it doesn't matter who wins or whose fault is it. It matters that the game is good. And so we're in the game, and then we are being played, right?
Yes.
And we are by like feeding and by consuming more of the game, we are just being pawns, kind of allowing something to absorb, drain our life force. We can be using that for so many different reasons. Definitely, we need to be more creative and more together. And it's everything that happens, I think, is a reflection of our human consciousness. All of us together. We can't just say it's this, that, point fingers. We have to take responsibility as one for everything that's happening. Pandemics, it's like we are doing it together. So we gotta all rise up.
Everything that happens to you is your fault. and everything is a gift,
Our
a chance,
lesson, right?
opportunity,
Yeah.
a lesson,
Yeah.
and
It's fun.
it always yings and yangs out anyways. That's why I'm not too worried, because with every demonic evil spirit there's a beautiful Holy Spirit.
There's a very, very powerful
The universe works in crazy ways, and
faith.
yeah, and
If we're like worried, it's because we don't have enough faith, belief.
but with like something like the pandemic, some beautiful information also comes through, and this like rays of
Catalyst.
awareness, it catalyzes the now I have to think and be more aware, and it really gives you an opportunity to take advantage of your own health,
Yeah.
of your own body, about what happens to you, about what information you believe, what you don't believe. And before, maybe you didn't care that much. You were just like, yeah, the news is a little biased, but it's okay.
We're zombies.
They're still giving you, like, you would still believe the New York Times would deliver you real information. By now, I think most people I know are like, yeah, right. Like when they report about the hospital get blown up, or they're like, yeah, it might be true, it might not be true. And before, like 3 years ago, it was like, that definitely happened.
So the game will continue, like the bread and circus.
Yes.
The circus will continue. The news, the media, the feed, that's always going to continue. And the way to win is to be outside of the game, to not be emotionally attached to the game. And yeah, to see that there's something bigger playing it. I've always felt like there's us, humanity, there's higher power, and there's also like a dense in between, which is fourth dimensional to me. We can't see it, but it's like there. It's in our our electromagnetic frequencies, and it's in our dreams. There's something that's like also like makes a living off of us being blind to it. That's there's so many names for it. I guess you can call it archonic, like dark force. That it's there, and it's also part of the game, also part of us getting better. Like, because if we are able to wake up from it, I've woken up from sleep paralysis, right? And you feel like that entity is like something's holding you back at it, but you can see it sometimes. And when you can see it, it's over. But how many nights has it been there without me knowing, right?
And don't you think that, like you said, like everything is perfectly set up for you, for what you need? Look at everything that you've gone through. Like you've had to, like the fast food, the school system. It really starts with the school system. It goes to your nutrition,
education.
It goes to your 9 to 5. It seems like it's just a constant test on if you're gonna be free and free your mind, or if you're gonna be enslaved. Because the system will just make you a slave, and you're constantly, like almost like the gym, it's a constant challenge. And the pandemic is just one of them. But they've done it so many times, and it's always happening. It's always a fight within.
Yeah.
So you're in a constant battle.
So freedom has to be the way out.
Yes.
And not just like saying let's break free now from our restraints, but let's be free in the way we treat each other. Like from the beginning, from like youth, let's not have so much control, and let's let us develop into what our higher consciousness and our inner child leads us to, like naturally, right? Because if we were all doing what we loved, I think everything would be fulfilled, every kind of career necessary. and there'd be less dissonance because how can we be upset if we're doing what we love? How can we, right? That has a lot to do with it. It's like we're getting stuck in it's okay to be of service and to do things that maybe you're sacrificing yourself. That's necessary. But to pick a career that is not truly in your heart, that's probably creating a lot of issues.
Not only that, I think how many times do you meet somebody that you truly hate? Because
I didn't think of anybody actually.
because when we meet, you realize I am you.
Mhm.
You are me.
Mhm.
Doesn't matter your skin color or
You might hate them online, or like you might not.
yes,
It's
but it
not real
might be a
hate.
bot. It might be not a real person. It might be a systematic
So funny.
setup. Because
It's
like these crazy left and crazy right, where are they? Like sometimes I ask myself, like, are they real? Are they really here? Like all these like comments and it seems like constructed. And because when I meet somebody, even somebody that's completely, I would like looks like he's the opposite of me, I realize that we're still one. You're still a human. I'm a human. We all want love and peace and harmony, and you're just like me. So they need to constantly have this isolation of people not meeting and being alone to create this hate. Because otherwise, if they would meet, if everybody from Palestine would meet everybody in Israel, then there's going to be like a very small group of people that are like full on psychopaths, terrorists. But most people probably would be like, hey, we're all one. We're all in this together.
Yeah, and I've thought of this because if we're awake to that, and a lot of us are now, we're seeing that there's something that's dividing us.
Yes.
But
all the pronoun shit, all this stuff is just
all
dividing.
division.
This LGBTQ is just like this. You're not me. We're not this. We're not all gay together. No, you're like something else now.
Yeah.
And we need to have we're not one.
Yes. I mean, not to stir any feather or ruffle any feathers, but like non-binary, that means you're already separated.
Yes.
If you're not binary, means you're binary because there's something else.
Yeah.
Like,
but we're all one.
Yeah, yeah. So labels, yeah, let's get rid of that, and let's just see with more than just our scrolling eyes. We have to open our third eyes. Third eye can easily be. It's not hard. Like, we all have it. Everyone has a pineal gland. That's the direction. That's the intuition, the guide. And as soon as we cut off, and it's not removing technology, it's knowing, like, not feeding the technology that we know it's taking from us. Because technology is amazing. We're learning, all the things that we're coming to conclusion, we are awakening to a lot that's coming from these TikTok videos or people posting real shit, right? So we're naturally going to gravitate. So we have to feed less of the bullshit, and that's happening naturally, right? We have to feed less, but we're not there yet. We have to keep going, and it's the more we move together as one, the higher we raise up, the harder it's like a game, right? We talked about that. So the game, we're moving on to another level now, another war, and honestly, once you've won over ourselves, which is what we do every day, then we've won. But we have to all do it. We have to help. If we're good, if we wake up today, we're feeling great, we have to make sure that we're helping the others who aren't feeling as great. And
be of service. I like service.
Service is the move. So it's like, so it's what is it? You either service to self or service to others, right?
Yeah.
That's the two type of path. And if we serve others, then we're good. We're gonna be happy. So I don't know. There's so many ways to serve. I want to make sounds that are helpful in vibration. I do feel a difference when I'm playing music and it's in solfeggio tuning, as opposed to like the dissonant 440. It has a huge effect on the actual inner chemistry. If you feel different, so vibration has healing effects to it. If we do it right, music. And I also want to share. Share. I've worked hard so far, and I'm not even halfway there. I'm not even a portion of the way there. It's because it never ends. But I've learned a couple things at work. Going back, and to me, going into the city, I don't have to worry about uh, how I feel anymore. I don't have to worry about shit like I don't feel good or I'm disharmonic or even depression or any of those low vibes. I think we got this right, and I'm not sure if everyone else got this. So there's a few simple things: meditation, diet, and exercise, and probably good rest. Yeah, and no, I guess less lustful mindsets, because that's also a portal for leech energy, like the invisible energy that we're talking about, the dark energy that is living in by darkness. It's like hidden. It's not like obvious. So these are always around us, so we can't see them. So going back to what I was saying earlier, the red infrared glasses. I don't know if we remember that. It's those are red right there, but there's a military infrared that you can see spirits. So they were in Vietnam. They were testing them out, and the dudes were like shooting at and going crazy and shooting at random targets. They didn't know what it was, and it turned out that these red infrared were able to see different spirits, like literally. And these guys weren't on opium or nothing. So,
And you've tried this out?
yeah, I've tried like the aura glasses. Those are amazing, and you get more in tune to it. I'm telling you, I see these. You start to see these. It's not always helpful because sometimes you got shit to do, right? That's the problem.
Do you see them right now?
No, I can see like a bit of an energy, but it's something you feel also. It's like a mixed, not just a. So we're so used to looking at something like if I see this, this is a box, right? Like cardboard. But in between, there's a lot going on. So it's training ourselves to not be so three-dimensional and like focus on, like when I look at you, I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at you, like, and everything around you. And that is kind of helps with the awareness of what's going on around. You're feeling it too. Yeah. So there's a lot of techniques, I think, to like be aware. And if we're in a spiritual war, we should know that like whoever's gonna make it is gonna be the ones that are in tune to their surroundings, right? Though I also know that the dissonant, hidden enemies, I would say, are they can't reach that higher consciousness. So we're good if we stay a high vibe. However, to all come up, we need to be able to go back into the hood, right? Or into the trench, kind of like, and say let's help people out. Let's go into the cities. Like I'm not in Mount Shasta all the time, right? You're not in the mountain and at the ocean like 24/7 for that purpose, because we need to be of service. We can easily go feel good and live a peaceful, calm life, but that's not gonna make us happy at the end of the day. It's not gonna make us feel accomplished.
I could just work out every day.
It can be so easy.
Self-care, meditate, eat organs, and spend time with the family. But there's more to it.
That's not enough, huh?
Especially in our information war, I need to participate, and especially when you know things and hear things and you find out about what they are up to and what's all toxic for you. I feel like responsible, and I want to scream it out in the world, kind of like what to help people and prevent people from hurting themselves.
Yeah.
And be part of a greater awakening.
The greatest.
Before they do the Great Reset. So
Great reset. That's silly.
You don't believe in the Great Reset?
No.
No?
It's just funny. Yeah, it's already it's too late. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it in the streets. Like when you were saying you meet people, you see it on the screens and
but not in the streets.
No, I don't see people wanting to fight. Like I'm in Hollywood, downtown LA. I just came from. I don't see the anger. I know people will honk at you and it's like everyone's stressed, but I don't see the need to. We don't want to kill each other anymore. Like let's stop doing that. Like let's stop letting them push us into that because that's not who we are. We're only if we're about moving forward, evolving, even survival. To love each other is the next step. That's how we're gonna all get ahead. So I'm not gonna move forward unless I'm more loving, more accepting, more peaceful. I'm gonna hold myself back. So once we all realize that, like by being in the Royal Rumble and the Coliseum, and that's only gonna bring us personally and all together now. So I think we're getting there. Just from the energy of you when you travel, you see it, you feel it, and you know that we wanna feel good. We're tired of all that shit. Maybe that's why all these things are happening, these pandemics, things, so we can all just realize, and that's the awakening. Like, all right, cool, that's enough. Chill out for a couple thousand years, right? So yeah, techniques. Third eye techniques. Does that help you with? Does your morning ice bath help with that?
Oh yeah.
1 second.
These glasses? Yeah. I use these to sleep.
These are. So when you're yeah, to avoid jet lag, this helps also.
Yeah, you gotta be careful because these create natural melatonin.
That's what they do.
Mm-hmm. So blue light will make you more awake. They let it through zero blue light. So if there's a blue light, like right here, you won't even see it. You don't see this light, right? It's a blue light. Purely blue.
It's green. Oh, it's blue. Okay. So I have a blue light on my phone. Blue light screen.
So these glasses, they don't let through any blue light.
Why is blue light so bad? Because it's a synthetic. It's not like the actual sunlight. Sun gazing. Have you tried that? That's crazy. I don't do it that often because it's just too. Sometimes you can have an abundance of chi, like too much fire, and you're not like channeling it properly. So sun gazing, it's like a half hour before sunset and after sunrise. You can measure it with your fist. So when the sun is here, that's like you gotta stop. But before, while it's from the horizon to your fist, you can stare directly in the sun. And you want to be grounded, like feet on them, because it's like we're plants in a sense, and you absorb that light, and it really like it's like a nutrition, and there's a pyramid, right, of nutrition. So the sun is at the very top, and you got water and sunlight, water, and then you have I think it's wheatgrass and seaweed are like the most purest forms of energy without some like as much density. And you go into veggies, right? Fruits. And then it goes, at the bottom you have like junk food. Yeah. I cut out grains. Oh, bread and circus. So grains is bread, right? And I don't think it's necessarily bad, like as a creation by Earth, but I think the GMO, because we don't have a lot of pure seeds anymore. So the grain, I think that's why everyone's like on a gluten-free keto frenzy, because that helped. Has something in it that it weighs us down. So I've done grain-free for a couple weeks. I feel light, feel very like awake. Like there's less, there's definitely something unnecessary there.
Less brain fog,
Mm-hmm.
less inflammation.
Less, yeah. And like you can just see it too, like and it helps a lot. So I would recommend trying different things, cutting out sugar for sure. I think what it is a lot of our grains that turn into sugar because they're GMO, they're not natural. And so the sugar goes into our brain, right? Into our mind. There's parasites that live in our brain. It's trippy, it's scary, but they will reprogram us to crave toxic food and sugar. It's not something we need, like, but that's the first like street drug kind of like when kids get exposed to sugar and you start building that. It starts feeding that leech and that hidden energy that's basically pushing you to feed it by keeping your vibe low, right? And honestly, it's not something that it's smart to like eliminate overnight. Like, oh, I'm gonna stop eating sugar entirely. You just switch it kind of slowly. And for me, I've known that, let's say, gluten bread is not necessarily the best thing. However, it takes like being ready to like let it go. And I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I know when I can see it, or I can tell that it's not helping, then okay, it's gotta go. Very like visual in that sense. But yeah, it's not that hard, right? We just have to be disciplined. And I guess it's cool to party once in a while. As long as we come back come back to the source. Cause that's where the most fun happens. Yeah. I don't know if we want to talk about retention as a male. Okay, so like we grow up being taught that that we should always see it. It's almost like a reward to be lustful with your male energy. I don't know if it's instinctive, but it's very like in certain societies, it's like, yeah, that's go out and do it, right? Go out and go crazy, party. But there's this this is a deep one. Like we gotta
Like energy, right?
there's this a liquid. It's basically your semen, and sits at the base of your spine, of our spines, and the more we release that, the less energy our body has to do other things. So that can cause a lot of depression.
And it makes us like weak. Do you know that boxers and fighters, they don't come like a month prior to fighting?
Yeah.
Also, like they don't see their like girlfriend, and you know, like you try to like really dial into like that's why they have fight camps.
Yeah.
No distraction, no pussy, no
Yeah.
nutting.
You're just an animal.
And when you nut, you feel soft, physically, mentally.
Done. Depleted.
A little bit.
You lost.
A little bit.
You probably like Mike never did, right? It's like Mike Tyson. Like, yeah.
Well, sometimes I don't know if it was Jake Paul or somebody. Somebody said they like nutted in their sleep before the fight,
And they lost.
and they lost. I don't know if that's
silly.
sounds made up. That sounds silly, but man,
You gotta have more control than that.
but there's something about sexual energy and
Shouldn't be wasted.
there's a weird thing about coming always to a screen alone. I mean, that has to take your masculine power away from you if you always jerk to a screen that is not real, that you've not conquered a woman, you've not went up to somebody and conquered yourself and overcome this anxiety and really went for it and made a relationship and then had this experience with a human. No, you just opened something and you didn't do anything. There's no purpose and no effort.
So sad.
And then you deplete.
Such a waste.
And then you come.
This is life. Like these.
That has to do something to your psyche. That has to make you a less of a man.
And even in perspective, it's like, what are you releasing from your body? It's
life.
Fucking life.
Life.
Why would you want to just, freely let that go every day or never let that go?
Without purpose. Dead life. Never. You're killing life.
You have to be fully in control and conscious of. And so there's a muscle that you can train to, right?
And it's the same for the women where they want to have come inside of them biologically. They cannot. This is this like crazy need of please. That's why I think like porn is so demonic, because it also wants the cum on the face. That's like such a thing, right? It's not like a cream pie is like a thing too, but like it's mostly the life on the face and seeing it die out on somebody's face.
Such destruction.
I mean, it sounds disturbing as fuck.
Yeah. It's
the living life on somebody's face with no purpose. There's not even a chance that it will crawl through the birth control somehow and like make life. No, it's on the face and it will die out right there.
And so do we we've grown up like thinking that was normal. That
I always hated
it, but knowing that it wasn't, but being told that, like, right, not otherwise.
No, not. I would say it's even liberal. Like I let my man jerk off, like kind of like I am so.
You're pushing the limit.
Sexual, liberated,
open,
and open that we all masturbate alone to screens, and I like.
You have to fall down to.
And I let my it's craziness. It's pure It's just sad, really. Instead of having a profound experience with your loved one, intimate, real, purposeful life.
We should have knowledge of both, not just be so easily just one-sided. Like, and I think the hidden aspects of it, like we have to be completely open, but we don't discuss these things. Even, it's probably even unusual for a lot of people to hear. And it's like the fact that it's so hidden that we don't even know it's an option. Right? So if we have both options, we know you can party and you can be like a fool and like get fucked up and hungover and be lustful, and that's your choice. But you can also do this. And we're not ever shown that. I mean, what is sex education? So they don't tell you that this is your life force and that you can save it and change the world with it and make yourself better and not have to literally be burnt out of energy. Like your aura's probably shrunk as hell for like a couple weeks, right? Like it's over. You're not doing anything important after that. Like, it's not even. Yeah, so, and then there's the other side of it, which when you hold on to too long, which I'm aware of, it's like you become a little bit like it could be like explosive. And that's, I think, why fighters might, because you can literally just like, you feel like aggressive sometimes.
Yeah.
If you're not meditating, breathing, being creative. Creativity is the cure to everything, I think. But yeah, that you need to use that for something. And if thing that happens, it's unfortunately you see it a lot in with like popes and maybe not the pope. It's obvious, but the religions, like Catholic, they're also not supposed to. They're supposed to be celibate, right? But then it comes out in a toxic way.
Yeah.
Because they're not shown how to. It's not that you're not supposed to be active, because that's nature, right? We're supposed to, but it's the mindfulness. It's knowing that you don't have to release your life force unless you want to, unless you like purposefully. And so by keeping it out of our awareness, out of our sight, saying don't talk about this, just don't do it, then that makes it toxic as well. We have to. It's the most simple thing in the universe. Creative energy, sexual energy. It's everything. And why don't we know more about this? Why don't we know that we can really create towards a higher existence, or we can go use it lustfully and destructively? That's creating a lot of violence and disharmony and pain. I think that's a big part of it. It's because weakness, right? Lack of confidence, lack of strength, I don't have enough. I'm missing. I need to take something from someone, or if we are all empowered within, which that I think is honestly one of the core physical things that we can do, is use our creative energy more wisely.
No, and I wish somebody would be, or young people would be like, I want to be a father, I want to be a mother, I want to create a family.
Mm-hmm. It's not so much the vibe.
No, it's
being pushed.
People don't want to. They scare us with financially, and they want to keep you hot on IG, and it's seen down upon, like that a dad is like the guy with the N on the shoes and the belly, and the mom is like the one that gives up her career, and that gets through propaganda, and like everybody hears that, and so you think creating a family, you should wait, and you should
just
make
wait
money
till you can't no more.
Yeah, either that naturally because you shouldn't, or you wait and you miss out on this
you wait too long.
Opportunity to create a beautiful life, and that has a lot to do with the propaganda and the movies, the television, the feed. Everybody's hotter and younger and more successful and richer, and you don't want to miss out on that.
But it can be,
stay-at-home mom is like looked down upon.
It sucks, right?
Same with the men, the bachelors, and Instagram is pretty much porn anyways. It's very sexual, and when I go on YouTube, it's like all the sexy clips have always the most views, and
because like that lust sells.
Yeah,
and
because that need cannot be turned off, so they just put it somewhere else instead of making it a beautiful quest on finding somebody you want to create a family with.
Deep depth and higher conscious ways of seeing it. Yes, we have that Western like issue, right, where we want everything now.
Yeah,
we want instant satisfaction, gratification, and we're kind of taught that, and we have taught that to other parts of the world too. But it doesn't ever resolve, right? So we're getting to the point where it's not enough. That's the hard way of learning, right? It's like, this shit ain't working. Like this, we gotta go deeper. Yeah, it's weird. So I think we got it. I think we've figured out something. We've gained awareness of it. So now we need to share it, spread it. And I don't see why our world can't be better in, the next few years.
Maybe it is better.
It's definitely getting better.
I feel a big awakening, and everybody that I run into, they're very aware, and there's people say young people have no attention span anymore, and blah, and everything's evil, and TikTok and blah blah blah. But I feel like there's so much information. We live in an information time where it's all leaking out, and you hear about BlackRock and Vanguard and Pharma and where the money goes, and Iran sponsored this and the Taliban is from that, and before you know it, you have access to all this information, and that really makes you wonder and be just hungry for more information, and makes you really question everything at this point in my life, where I'm like, I don't trust anybody and any information anymore, and I used to just go with it, with the flow, and I think there's a, like you said, you don't see it. So it's all created online in this propaganda machine that the world is going to shit. But there's a lot of, like you said, there might be a lot of darkness, but it doesn't take a lot of light to light up a room. It takes like one candle,
Yeah.
you know? So I feel so too. Like you said, there's a shift.
Let's focus on that shift, huh?
And those podcasts really changed my life. Doing them, listening to them, information is key, I think. You know?
It's a beautiful world that we're entering. It's here.
It's right now.
It's now. I wouldn't be surprised if like 5 years from now, it's literally like a mystic unicorn realm. Like we're seeing unicorns, dragons, everything. I don't see that being too far off. Like we're doing things where some people might be levitating.
Right?
Yeah, we're moving ahead. Yeah, and we're just maybe our style and our brands and our was just a projection of what we know is actually here and what we know is coming in style. And like branding is always kind of like a thing you hang on to, like a vibe, right? Like a club, kind of like a group. And we're kind of we're putting out that message that we don't have to live in like gloomy, like, oh, sad boy life, like my miserable. Like that's cool. Like you guys can do that, but you don't have to do. You can live abundant, flourishing, prosperous, joyful. Joy is the vibration. Love of joy, creation, Renaissance. We gotta bring that in. Renaissance is growth. There's no lack. We have so much to give. We're just like blooming, right? This is the season of bloom. We're entering spring into our human cycle. It might have been like a cold ass winter, but we're on the way out.
That's good. That's good.
We got this.
You got this. Thank you. Zii.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so much more to go into. But yeah, let's just keep our vibrations high. That's the only solution, right?
Absolutely.
What would you say to
Together.
anyone watching? Yeah,
I feel like, well, I think like it starts all at controlling your own health.
Mm.
And then once you're healthy, physically and mentally, then you can go out and conquer. But you gotta start within. That's all you can do right now. So man, I feel like everything is going to shit and the world is an evil place.
Mm-hmm.
I go cold plunge, I eat healthy, I try to sleep more, and once I have everything in balance in my soul and my body, I feel like now I can do a podcast, or I can have some sort of impact on culture or on an awakening, or even when it's just a one-on-one or you meet somebody. But you cannot do that if you are ill. So I feel like take control of your own health, physically and mentally. Pay huge attention to what you eat and consume, on the media and on the food and on the physical aspect, and what you do most of the day. And once you have control over that, then you're of service. Then you can be of use. But you cannot be a servant when you don't serve yourself. You know? Make yourself strong and you'll be able to help somebody else. And maybe that's not your purpose, but maybe it's only your purpose to help your family or your inner circle or your best friend. We all need a best friend.
Help something.
Not everybody needs to speak to the world, put themselves out there like that, but I think you also just being an example for your family or your friends and living your healthiest you can also be part of that greater awakening already. If you're just questioning the media and just not eating the bugs and not believing all this shit, you're already doing a lot.
Yeah. And if we're just scrolling, I don't think that's enough either.
No.
At least working on ourselves.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're like the circus. You're part of the circus.
Yeah.
You're not even a part of the circus. You're just a spectator of the circus.
We have time to scroll, but we don't have time to meditate.
There's the people that scroll. Then there's the people that make the content to scroll. I used to do that.
We write the scrolls.
Yeah. Then there's the person that makes the scrolling device.
Mm.
But then there's the person that lays that device down and sits in stillness.
The technology's here, right?
Yeah.
And
the answers too.
They don't give us the instruction manual.
No.
We got to figure that out.
Yeah. One by one.
Yeah. Do you ever feel the pressure here? You ever feel like a tingling? Do you ever see angel numbers?
Numbers?
Yeah, angel numbers like on your phone or clock.
Uh-huh.
What do you see?
727.
Whoa.
I always see
I never
727.
Never heard of that.
No?
That's 7.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, actually, if you add it up in numerology, that's 6, and 6 is family. It's like you're able to. There's a number of being able to support others, kind of. Yeah, numerology is something I just been studying recently. We all have all those numbers are messages, right? So if you see 727 often, that's very important. That's a message from your subconscious. Yeah. So 7 plus 2, 9, plus 7, 6, and then because you only keep it as single numbers. And I find that some of the 6s are very family oriented. They can help a lot of people. It's not just about you. So that might be a message. And when you're around somebody, you see 222.
Uh-huh.
That means 2, right? Connection. It's a good partnership. 2. And of course, you got your 1111s. Those are divine numbers. But all those are so meaningful. We should pay attention to the signs. And their signs are everywhere. If we're ever searching on Google, we can just look around. They're communicating to us. There is a whole other universe that we don't see, right? But it's there for us. And I do believe in higher spirits and angelic spirits. And another thing that has always worked for me is if I'm ever caught in something difficult that I can't figure out, I'll just ask my higher self, my guardian angels, Holy Spirit for guidance, or just help me out. Ask for support. You got me, faith, and I've the craziest stuff has happened. It just things I wouldn't. I'm I can't figure this out. I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this, and it just works every time. But there's always something there that has your back. Yeah, if we were to just fall back and just trust, it'll be okay. So we're not alone.
I gotta pick up my son soon.
Yeah.
From school.
You're his guardian angel.
I am.
Hmm.
Protector. Servant.
That's cool. We've had a nice hang, huh?
Man, are you gonna come visit me in Austin?
I'll be there.
Yeah?
Please. I have a big reason to go now.
First I thought, it's so cold and hot, and I love California.
Is it gonna snow this?
Uh-huh. And then I thought, why the fuck am I like this? I've really become softened up here in LA.
Soft here?
Yeah, because I went there and I was like, fuck, it's kind of cold.
Well, temperature-wise, yeah.
Yeah, temperature-wise. And I really asked myself, why am I such a bitch. Like I've become like such a bitch that doesn't want to be in the cold. Like you don't even want to think like you're like, oh, I don't want to move there because it's cold, you know. And then I ask myself like, it's like almost like with your partner, you know. Do you want to date yourself, or do you want to be with a person that makes you a better man? Do you want to be in a place that makes you a better person, or do you just want to be comfortable? You know, do you just want to be spoon fed, and or do you want a workout that's actually gonna challenge you?
Yeah.
I need that right now. I want to be a man. I want to be strong, and I want to live in a place where you don't have a bunch of like soft people just living there because the sun shines every day. You know, that really made me think.
But I think it's gonna be easier then.
I know,
Yeah, no.
I know. I'll adapt quick, but I have work to do.
You visited enough at least.
I can be a better man.
Yeah, and
I can be a better
change
me.
is hard. You know, it's always
Yeah.
hard, but not hard
Oh,
enough.
but it's the best. It's
Not
never,
harder than you.
not yeah.
It's an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm so happy that you're taking this step. And as I mentioned, LA will have less angels for sure. But yeah, they're relocating and starting a new city of angels.
And you know, didn't you say that places have energies? And like when there's a lot of people died in a place, or a house that somebody died,
Yeah, we talked about
you
it.
know, in Austin it's fresh.
That might be why.
You have all this area that nobody has died, nobody has lived, only cattle, like real
No
cattle,
battles.
like only cows and shit.
So it's pure.
Yeah, you should research it maybe in history, because it seems pure. It seems not already there's something
It's a
going.
canvas.
Yeah, it's a fresh canvas.
Yeah, everything's energy, and the reason
Yeah.
why there's so many people moving there,
Yeah.
creatives and artists, it has something to do with the ability to create there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm supporting 100,000%.
I'll see you there.
I'll be there, and yeah, from the meantime in spirit.